tonight about just how effective the U.S. missile strikes were in Syria. Good evening. I'm Christina Salonikas.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. As fallout continues across the globe, the Trump administration warns further military action in the region has not been ruled out. NBC's Jay Gray is traveling with the president and has the latest from Florida.
Ended this afternoon here.
The president is scheduled to stay in Florida through the weekend. A group of Mid-Missourians came together in Columbia today to protest those airstrikes in Syria. Mid-Missouri Peaceworks held what it calls an emergency protest at the intersection of Broadway and Providence. Protesters held up signs saying "honk for peace" and "end the endless war," causing many drivers to beep their horns. The organization's director says it holds protests regularly, but felt yesterday's news called for what it called an emergency protest.
We do a rush hour demonstration every single Wednesday. We've been doing that for 15 and a half years. But this is something different. It's on a Friday, and it's because of what happened last night.
He says today's protest was successful, but the group will continue to fight until it sees change.
President Donald Trump is discussing a nuclear North Korea threat with China's president, and NBC News has learned of potential contingency plans if diplomacy fails. Those options include moving nuclear missiles into South Korea, moving both the U.S. and South Korean special forces into North Korea, and even killing North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. NBC News Secretary Analysis says North Korea should be at the top of the agenda for both the U.S. and China. An update on the Sweden attack in which a truck rammed into a crowd of people and a department store. Police arrested a second man but have not said if either one is a suspect. Officials say 4 people were killed and 15 others were injured. A hijacked beer truck ran over pedestrians on the busiest street in Stockholm before crashing into a store. Sweden's prime minister described the crash as a terror attack, saying Sweden is a, quote, state of shock.
Warm and sunny today. Let's send it over to Michael to see how the rest of the weekend looks.
Thank you, Brittany, and good evening, everyone. It was just a little bit.
A Columbia man filed a discrimination claim against the Boone County Sheriff's Department. Jonathan Houston says the department denied his deputy application because of his race. KOMU 8's Matt Vereen is live to tell us how Houston came to this conclusion and what he hopes to get out of the charge.
I'm here at the Boone County Sheriff's Department where, for the past month, Jonathan Houston has undergone tests as part of the deputy application process. Now, that process included multiple tests like a writing test, multiple interviews, and a lie detector test. Houston says he passed all of those and was called a, quote, strong candidate. But department officials were not available this afternoon to verify those claims. Houston had entered the background check process when he received a rejection letter with no reason mentioned for the rejection. Houston, who also claims to have no criminal record, says the most likely reason for the rejection was racism. That's when he filed his claim with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
They just say I'm not a strong candidate. Now, for my own research, being black and not having many black people passing those tests would make me a strong candidate. So with there being that gap of information of not telling me, I most likely think that there's racism.
As I mentioned earlier, we were unable to reach officials here at the Boone County Sheriff's Department to comment on Houston's claims. Houston, meanwhile, says that his future decisions will depend on what the EEOC says about his claim. Reporting live in Columbia, Matt Vereen, KOMU 8 News.
About 20 more homeless veterans in Columbia will have a place to call home soon thanks to a nonprofit and a grant. The Missouri Housing Trust Fund gave Welcome Home Incorporated a $120,000 grant. Welcome Home is using it to build its new facility. Executive Director Tim Rich says the group had to turn away 92 veterans last year because of a lack of space, but this new grant will meet the need for more veterans in Columbia.
So this facility and this grant will help us open a 32-bed facility that also allows us to serve female veterans and veterans with families.
Last year, Welcome Home served 124 veterans and had an 80% success rate, getting them into permanent independent housing within about 90 days. The new facility is set to open by July 1st and will have its grand opening celebration on July 20th.
The City of Columbia wants you to be educated on your housing rights. More than 100 people gathered at City Hall for a seminar on housing rights. The event hosted interested tenants, landlords, housing agencies, and more. Seminar speakers discussed topics such as affordable housing, structural racism in housing, and service animals for disabled tenants. One human rights officer says she learned about rights for disabled tenants with service animals.
We do a lot of investigations in regards to that, so I definitely had a lot of questions about what is legal and what's not legal, what can a landlord ask, what can't they ask.
Chapman says the event is beneficial for those who enforce housing laws and tenants who want to know their rights.
After the break, the investigation continues into human remains found in Cass County. What investigators hope to find.
Plus the details of an Ohio murder involving a woman, her husband, and a refrigerator. 2 people are in custody after Montauk County Sheriff's deputies found drugs, guns, and cash at a home that a 3-year-old child was inside. Deputies arrested 38-year-old Matthew Mannering and 20-year-old Deani Martinez after finding meth, marijuana, and distribution materials in the home, along with handguns and a large sum of cash. The street value of the drugs is estimated to be $35,000. Mannering and Martinez are in Montauk County Jail awaiting formal charges. The Cass County Sheriff's Department near Kansas City says it found evidence it hopes will help identify one of the 2 sets of human bones found Monday. The other set of bones has been identified as Jessica Runyon's. She was last seen in September with Kyler Yost, who later was charged with burning her vehicle. Yost also has been questioned in the 2007 disappearance of Kara Kapowski. The Cass County Sheriff's captain says the department has an investment in the case.
I think you see with a lot of the investigators down here, not only they have a professional interest, but
There were about 40 people digging in the ground by hand today, many with a forensic background. Some investigators will be returning to the scene tomorrow morning to finalize any remaining work.
The Polk County Sheriff's Office says a person of interest in a triple homicide is now in custody. 20-year-old Chase Nicholson turned himself in around 10 a.m. today. Last night, authorities found the bodies of 3 of Nicholson's family members during a welfare check. A family member says Nicholson has mental health issues and had previously been arrested for an assault on his father. A 3rd man was convicted today in the 2015 death of a 14-year-old girl at a Kansas City water park. A jury found C. Antonio Kennedy guilty of 2nd-degree murder in the shooting of Alexis Kane. 2 of Kennedy's accomplices were convicted on different charges within the last year, one on voluntary manslaughter and one on involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors say the 3 men beat and shot Kane at the Bay Water Park after she met with someone she was talking to on Facebook. The jury will recommend sentencing Monday. And investigators say an Ohio woman charged with the murder of her husband stabbed him more than 35 times and then kept him in her refrigerator. Tina Adkins was in court today for her preliminary hearing. Authorities say they found a gruesome scene at the home where the refrigerator had a chain wrapped around it and was padlocked. Adkins admitted she stabbed her husband after he and their daughter got into a fight over a broken plate. The case will now go to a grand jury.
Later in the newscast, a Mid-Missouri high schooler gets some encouraging words from a special guest.
Plus, a new finding at MU might make you want to hit the gym. All right. Thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
After the break, high schoolers in Mid-Missouri get some sought-after advice for the future.
And later in sports, hundreds of athletes in Columbia this weekend, but their sport might not be what you think.
That's coming up, but first, here's your lottery numbers. Good luck.
Skills USA has helped its members realize going from high school to a 4-year university or college is not the only way to success. The organization is designed to prepare students for their desired field in technical, skilled, and service occupations. KMU's Desiree Evans has more on a visitor who came to put a stamp of approval on the idea.
Braden Moser is Desiree Evans, KMU8 News, Lynn, Missouri.
This was all part of Skills USA's 51st competition within the state of Missouri.
There's a new reason for aging men to keep lifting weights. Bone density decreases with age, but an MU researcher found lifting weights increases a hormone associated with bone growth. Pamela Hinton published the first study on how to build bone strength as people get older. She thought weight training would only stabilize bone health, but actually found it did more than that.
So we were a little bit surprised to see that there was an actual increase in bone mass in these middle-aged men and not just a stabilization or a slowing of the rate of loss. But yes, they actually demonstrated an increase in bone mass.
Hinton said millions of people are affected by osteoporosis, and it's important to focus on bone health before problems happen.
A big matchup in Columbia today for Mizzou softball. Find out if they pulled off a win.
That's sports.
Thanks. Easter is right around the corner. Some people are already celebrating with sweets.
After the break, a candy lover's dream. Sugar lovers in Maryland are getting in the Easter spirit. More than 30,000 people are expected to visit the 10th annual Peep Show to catch sight of more than 150 Peeps-inspired sculptures. Organizers say the sculptures use as many as 7,500 Peeps and as few as one. This year featured Peep Lisa, Edgar Allan Peep, and Mr. Potato Peep. The Peep Show runs through April 19th.
All right, here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News today. Honoring an officer killed in the line of duty, people from all across the state will come together for a memorial 5K.
Plus, Columbia groups celebrate Arbor Day by giving you a chance to have more green. Join us tomorrow morning for KOMU 8 News today starting at 6.
Taking a look at our forecast for our Saturday, we are going to see temperatures warm up considerably. We're going to see a high of 76 degrees, plenty of sunshine for our day on Saturday. We are going to continue to see sunshine at least for early Sunday afternoon. We are going to see a chance for some showers and storms late Sunday night.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.